We are so pleased to have A.M. Gold back in the studio with us, and she, you may remember, is the author of this book, Shush Boom, with a lot of really good topics, ranging from COVID to, well, I don't know. She's from New York. She's got a new mayor. His name's Mamdani. Hate to go political on you, A.M., but it's gotten a lot worse than I thought it would be, frankly. I thought he would come out with all this rhetoric and then it would just go by the wayside, but damned if he's not doubling down on it.
Yeah, I mean, every day something comes out and it's like, oh no.
So what do people in New York say? What do they think?
Well, I can't speak for everybody, but
people you run into.
Yeah, people I run into. I think
street?
Some people are really shocked by some of the things that he's actually accomplished so far. He's been there only 3 months, and a lot of things have changed. You can feel a change in just the atmosphere. I think people are a little more tense, and it's just unpredictable at this point.
Do you happen to know how many billionaires have left New York?
I know a lot of companies have, for sure.
Because I just saw on Fox this week, I'm pretty sure, that the number of billionaires that have left are into the teens, which, out of 123, what's 18 or 19 billionaires, but it's the beginning of sounds like a trend to me.
I think the billionaires can afford to keep a residence there, so they're fine about that. But in terms of actually the quality of life and actually living day to day, I think a lot of them have gone for several years now.
But isn't it the taxes that they're trying to escape?
Yes, he's trying to increase. I mean, the taxes are already 38%, and he's looking to do it as much as 40 to 50%, which would really be a lot difficult for a lot of people.
And you don't get any kind of a federal tax deduction for the state taxes you pay, do you?
Not that I know of.
I don't think so.
No.
So you have to pay federal taxes.
Federal tax as well.
On top of that.
Yes.
And by the time you pay sales tax.
Right.
And you have a property tax in New York?
I believe so, sure. I'm sure he's working on.
Oh my God! I mean, there's nothing left.
Yeah. Yes, that's reason enough. Yes, and also the rents. Strangely enough, the rents have been increasing substantially. A lot of rental buildings are going up 15, 20, 25%, and so that's quite interesting. I think maybe some people that I know are selling apartments and just moving into rentals to see what's going to happen.
I just wonder if no one in government in New York is aware of Detroit. I mean, the government basically screwed up Detroit by their tax policies and the way that they allowed the center of the city to deteriorate. It seems like they don't ever learn the lesson.
Well, I think also they have a different agenda. I think it's hard to call it incompetence or neglect at this point. I think a lot of these groups have different agendas.
Well, Governor Hochul a couple of weeks ago basically started begging billionaires to come back and acted like it was a benevolence to be good to the people of New York, who elected this guy Mamdani as the socialist mayor that really is becoming more communist than just socialist.
I would agree with you. And I think she's going to have a rough time at the new governor race coming up soon.
And who's the odds-on favorite to beat her?
I think Blakeman. I think there's a gentleman, Blakeman, who's actually Trump's choice.
So you think
there's a chance to make waves in the governor race for sure.
Any whispers about what took Stefanik out of the race?
I think
she said it was because of her child, but she got in it knowing that she had the child.
I don't know if that's true. That doesn't sound right to me. I think that Blakeman was put up against her, and I don't know. That was interesting though, because she's done well. She's had a great track record. She's very loyal to New York. So I was disappointed, but hopefully he's going to be as strong, if not stronger, candidate.
I've always liked New York, and I think it's a shame that we're seeing things go the way that they are. And I hope that the adults will show up at some point and get the pendulum swinging back in the other direction, or else, I don't know. Grok seems to paint a pretty rosy picture compared to the news reports that I read of people exiting. And I know there are 32 New York banks who have actually announced and have started to come to South Florida
Yes.
for regional or national headquarters.
Sure, a lot of companies have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at London. You go to London, it's unrecognizable right now. And it doesn't take long to bring a city to its knees. So he's only been in Mamdani for a few months. And people are feeling a tension, a sense of disunity. People are very on edge, a lot of people.
But he's an avowed Muslim, correct?
I think he's, yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say so. He's holding prayer sessions in the Gracie Mansion, and he's spending a lot of time at prayer sessions with different groups in the city.
It just makes me scratch my head that the people of New York would elect someone who actually was going to be their undoing in the long run.
Well, again, it's all about election integrity. We have a real problem in the country, both on a federal as well as a city and local level. And I mean, look at the judges. A lot of the judges are rogue judges. They've been put in, they've been installed. And so until we get our elections, purified, we're going to continue to have candidates that are very controversial and may not have been necessarily the chosen ones by the majority.
What about Judge Ingram? Does anybody ever see this guy? Does anybody know him?
Judge Ingram?
Yeah, I call him Judge Ignoramus. He's the one that valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million.
Right. He's probably quiet these days.
Yeah, we haven't heard much out of him since Trump became president. I think he's hiding, hoping that, well, actually,
I'm sure he hasn't forgotten about him.
As strategic as Trump is, he might just go with Judge Ingram's official verdict that Mar-a-Lago is only worth $18 million.
Right.
Who's going to contradict the judge who was a music teacher before he went on the bench? And that could be Trump's tax return
exactly.
now in Florida.
Right? Wouldn't that be something?
I'd be interested to see what the tax assessor in Palm Beach, how they
well, his
react
neighbors
to
would
that.
enjoy that as well.
So we talked about the war in Iran and the influence that Israel had in getting us into the war. Have you had any subsequent thoughts about that? And who's running the United States? Is it Donald Trump or is it Netanyahu? And what's the scuttlebutt in New York?
Well, I mean, there are two trains of thoughts. There's the thought that Israel has a tremendous chokehold over the country and has for many years, and not just with this president, but many presidents. And then there's the other train of thought that people feel that Trump is in control. He knows what he's doing. There's been a plan laid out, an agenda set forth by him, by the military over the years. They do consider, many of us feel that it's a military sting operation that's been going on to eradicate the deep state in a lot of different parts of our society. So it's, I don't know if any one person really knows, as you said, as we discussed before, that wars are very messy, and sometimes commanders have to say and do things and hide what they're actually going to do and why they're doing it. So I think the jury is out, and we still have to wait and see what happens.
Well, connect the dots for us. Where are you coming from and the relationship to the deep state and the war in Iran?
Well, I mean, I think behind every war there are a lot of scenarios that are going on, and people don't necessarily know the full extent of why we're even in the war. And I think the same applies here. I think there's a lot of different reasons, and some of which we're sure to find out, and others that we may never know.
I think it's undeniable that the CIA was in Iran, destabilizing it, and they were probably working with Mossad as a lead up to the war.
Yes.
But you think the deep states, who got us into the war?
Well, I think the deep states they thrive on wars. And it's not just in our country. There's a deep state in Israel. There's a deep state in a lot of in England. There's a lot of deep states, and so I think maybe he's cleaning out a lot of this is going on for hundreds of years, from a financial standpoint, from a political standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint. There's a lot to be eradicated, and I think this is part of what he's been doing.
Trump went into this war, I said when he did that I felt that Trump was going to find out the hard way that wars were much easier to start than they are to end.
Right.
And I think that's what we're witnessing
Yes.
firsthand right now. And we had have the midterms looming.
Right.
Meanwhile, oil is $100 a barrel, up from 50. Gas prices are over $5 in some parts of the country.
Right.
That's not good news for the Republicans in the midterms, do you think?
Well, I think that we still have a ways to go. We still have a few months left. He's supposed to have a celebration. The U.S. is supposed to have a celebration, 250th anniversary coming up in July. So between now and then, there's a lot of work that needs to be done for people to be able to celebrate. Right now, the gas at the stations, groceries, the average citizen is having a lot of problems. And so in order for them to show up and celebrate, they need to be able to be taken care of.
Yes,
So
affordability,
we have a few months.
affordability.
Exactly.
That seems to be on the lips of every politician right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's playing into the hands of the Republicans. But then again, there's Eric Swalwell
Oh,
that
goodness.
we can now beat up on with
Wow.
good reason.
Yes.
I mean, I have disliked that guy for as long as I can recall, ever since he was outed with having an affair with Fang Fang, the Chinese
Right.
spy. And I think the karma is so wonderful. And I don't relish, I don't celebrate this stuff. I really don't. Because at the end of the day, he is a human being and he is flawed and he did err. But it's hard not to take some measure of pleasure in that Nancy Pelosi, when he was caught with Fang Fang, and he's on the United States Congress's Intel
Right.
Committee,
Can you imagine?
and he's sleeping with a Chinese spy, and Nancy Pelosi has the nerve to say, "Oh, I don't worry about Eric Swalwell."
Right.
Well, I mean, I wonder if she worries about Fang Fang, the Chinese spy who immediately disappeared and went back to China.
Right.
It's hard not to take some measure of enjoyment out of seeing his demise, given what a untruthful and unfaithful person he has been, not only to his wife and family, but really to our country.
For sure. I mean, it's very sad for the family. So I don't relish in something like that. But I think that what it does do is it puts other people on notice, because there's so much of that. I mean, he's not the only one, and people are going to think twice now before they do things like that. So I think it has to have some kind of accountability.
Every time there's a scandal, we think that it's going to deter behavior, and then
They just get a slap on the wrist.
we had Weinstein, and then we had all the people, Matt Lauer, who were Me Too'd, and basic human nature and frailties don't seem to go away.
No, that is true.
Meanwhile, we now have learned as an part and parcel of as an outgrowth of this, that there are memos that have surfaced between him and Adam Schiff, who was the chairman of the House Committee on Intelligence, that Schiff knew unqualifiedly that the so-called whistleblower relative to the messiness with the Ukraine and the allegation that Trump was trying to influence the election by working with the Ukraine, that the whistleblower concocted it.
Yes.
There was no truth to it at all.
Right.
And guess who one of his friends were? The guy from the FBI, what was his name? Strzok?
Strzok. Oh, yes, Strzok.
Yeah,
Yep.
that guy,
Adam
Strzok, yeah.
Adam Strzok or Peter Strzok.
Peter Strzok, that's
Yes.
right. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah, he was in the middle of it after
It's the
he
same
was
players. It's all
already
the
out
same
of the
players.
FBI,
Yeah.
and he's still meddling.
Yes.
And his punishment for getting kicked out of the FBI is to be a commentator on MS Now, or whatever they call it.
Well, they always seem to go back at the end. they resign or they're let go, and you find them on CNN or one of those channels.
Right.
It's like that's the next step down. It's really something. But I think that there's some order to this madness, and I think there is a big reveal, and I think these people are there's a lot slowly coming out over what we've been through for the last several years. I mean, it's time. People are tired, and they want to see some accountability. And
we talk about that virtually every
Right.
week on The Truth.
yes,
And what do we have to do to get accountability?
I think
It's
one of the first things we have to do is we have to get rid of a lot of the judges, because if you don't take care of the justice system and it's not renewed and good people are put on there, then you're going to continually, it's just an in and out kind of situation. So they have to do something about the justice system. Otherwise, these people are never going to pay for their bad behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great observation. So there was a time that I was calling for the demise of McConnell, McCarthy, and what was the lady who was the head of the RNC, who was Mitt Romney's niece?
Oh yes,
I can't believe I can't remember
her name. Yes, I don't remember it. It's tip of tongue.
The three M's,
Yes.
McConnell, McCarthy, and gosh,
I knew who you were
it's
talking
bad
about.
getting old. But now I'm calling for the destruction, removal, downfall of the three S's: Strzok, Schwalwell, and I won't rest until Schiff is no
yes.
longer on the
Yes,
national stage.
those three really need some
This-
rehabilitation.
This guy is bad.
Yes.
He brought this country through a second impeachment knowing that it was a fraud.
Yeah, he lied constantly on television every
Oh,
evening.
he had
every evening.
incontrovertible truth, and his incontrovertible truth was a whistleblower that we've now gotten the document that Tulsi Gabbard just released this week that proves that he had no firsthand knowledge of any contact that Trump had
Right.
with the Ukraine. And he made it, and he acknowledges now that he made it up,
Right.
saying that he relied on second and third hand information.
He
and
put the American people through a hellish nightmare every night on the news for like 4 years straight. And
Yeah.
there has got to be something that happens as a result of that.
and the
It's really a traitor.
people of California
it's a traitor.
punish him by electing him to the United States Senate. I mean, what is the matter with this society we live in?
Right. He wouldn't make it in corporate America very long.
Well, I hope he doesn't make it in the United States Senate or on the national stage much longer. Well, it is a pleasure to have you back with
Yes.
us. And you're working on a second book.
Right.
Do you want to tease the book a little bit? Tell us what we have to look forward to.
Well, it's going to be some other very interesting topics. Election integrity is one of them. And
Yeah, i.e. Adam Schiff. I wonder how much that played into his election in California.
And I'm also going to focus on some of the unsung heroes of the last several years. There's some really extraordinary people that have done incredible things, all very different walks of life. And so I'd like to definitely pay tribute to those people that have held us up and are really admirable to have learned their stories. And so,
Well, I think that would be great. It would be nice to shine a light on our unsung heroes,
Yes.
one of whom right now is a very good friend of mine. He's in his mid-20s, and a mile from where we're sitting right now, he just plucked 3 people out of the water who had a horrific boating accident. And his name is Sean, and I've invited him to come on The Truth and tell his story. But one of the individuals lost their leg, and the other was really bleeding out in the water. And Sean went out on his jet ski and pulled them to the shore and to safety, and for the EMS to come and get them. So it is uplifting when we hear stories like that, because we focus on the Strzucks and the Schwalwells and the Schiffs and the McConnells and the McCarthy and the... Oh, Anthony, I'm surprised you haven't dug it out for us by now. Wake up!
Well, I just wanted to add that there's, we talk all the time about the corruption and depravity and all of that, but at the same time, there's some people out there doing really exceptional things and really commendable, and they should be acknowledged. And as you said, they should. We should, put a light on them. And so that's what we hope to do in the second book.
Well, I'll conduct a little experiment with you.
Yes.
And I shared this with our listeners a couple of weeks ago. But what do you see on this piece of paper?
I see a dot.
Yes, and that's what I used to say with my salespeople who were complaining about their jobs, and I'd say that they'd say, "Well, I see a dot," and I'd say, "Well, don't you see an awful lot of white around here as well?" And that's
the cup half full, half empty.
Yeah, and I think that's what your book is doing, is exposing all the goodness that is in the world, and there's a lot more of that than the dot.
Absolutely.
But as just in human nature, I think we have a tendency to focus on the dot a lot. And so I'm glad that you're going to write a book that is going to be inspirational and uplifting. I think our culture and society need that right now.
Right. Well, Shush Shush Boom was really about what happened the last few years and drawing insight and having people think critically and connect the dots of what's really happened. And as we move into the second volume, it's going to be more of what's happening as we move forward and what we can look forward to and what we can focus on people doing great things.
Well, in the meantime, it's not too late to get your copy of Shush Shush Boom by A.M. Gold. And we're really looking forward to the second book.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for coming on The Truth today.
Yes, it's great to see you as well.